What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one. Guys, the Miami Dolphins have selected their head coach heading in to the 2022 season. Mike McDaniel, the offensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers, is now officially the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. The team has announced it. Schefter's reported it. We'll get into all of that for you. But guys, it is a great day for me. I mean, I had been on the phone literally about an hour ago and was just talking to some people. And the notion I was getting is if it's going to happen tonight, it's going to be announced after the Pro Bowl, and lo and behold, here we go. And I was keen on them announcing it tonight. You know, I'd already reported on Thursday night that I had been told by someone that they hope to have McDaniel wrapped up by the end of the weekend. So I put my neck out there a little bit. I gave you guys pretty much a solidified time frame of when I was hearing this deal would be done. And sure enough, Reason was right. My source was right. And here we go. Mike McDaniel is the head coach by the end of the weekend, and he is the new head coach of the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to open it up to you guys in a little bit. We've already got 317 in the room. Go ahead, smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new. Finally, guys, some positive news coming out of Miami Gardens. The negativity, at least for tonight, has been shelved as Mike McDaniel is the new head coach of the Miami Dolphins. You guys know the Mike McDaniel train started on this channel. It has continued on this channel. And choo-choo, mother, you know what? We are there. Mike McDaniel is the new head coach. I'm ecstatic. I think this is a guy who can turn around the culture. He's going to bring a whole different vibe, a whole different energy, whole different feel, personality-wise, than Brian Flores. But when you talk about this guy, you know, you hear the Philbin comparisons, you hear the Gaze comparisons, and they're lazy. I'm just going to dead those right away. None of those guys have reinvented offenses they've been in. All right. And McDaniel has done it twice. He did it under Mike Shanahan. He did it under Kyle Shanahan. All right. So none of those guys have that under their resume. All right. Like none of those guys were viewed league wide the way a guy like Mike McDaniel is. And let's be honest, too, none of those guys came from a tree that has been as successful in recent memory as the Shanahan tree. You know, we might have got not only the last apple left on that tree, but we might have got the brightest apple on that tree. I truly believe that. And the thing that's going to happen with him is he's going to fix the offensive line. We're going to have a running game. All right. And just so everyone knows, I'm going to have, if you guys remember you were with me last year through the draft cycle, Eric Crocker, who now, you know, he's a former DB in the league. I had him on last year. We talked about some DBs and we talked about some receivers and such. I'm going to have him on the show probably tomorrow night. I'm going to try and swing it. He's already agreed to come on. And, you know, it does Locked On 49ers. So same way we have Locked On Dolphins, he does Locked On 49ers, and we are going to break down Mike McDaniel for y'all. So it's going to be there's going to be changes coming. A change is coming, and I am super excited, super stoked. You know, I think we got a good one here, man. I think we got a good one. And I think we got a guy who he's going to make the most of his journey because not a lot of coaches have overcome what he has overcome, you know, since 2016 alone. Right? So, I think our offense is taken care of, and now what's going to be awesome over the next couple days is seeing his staff come together. Right, we're going to start getting an idea of what he's going to do with his staff, and I cannot wait for the introductory press conference. Man, I might go live for it. I think I might do that. But let's hop right into it, guys. If you didn't know already, and it's news to you, guess what? Adam Schefter, a little over a half hour ago, about 34 minutes ago, said sources Miami is working on a deal with 49ers offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel to be their new head coach. You see it right there. And obviously when it comes from Schefter or when it comes from Rappaport, you know, it's meant to come out through those guys, right? Those are the voices and the faces of information for the NFL. So when that comes through, that's awesome. And I know there's still going to be Downers all around here, doubters out here. There's still going to be people out here. The guy just got hired and they're already waiting to take victory laps on him failing. I'll never get Dolphin fans who do that. The same people who did it with Tua, uh, some of them are probably going to do it with Mike McDaniel just because they think it's hip and it's fresh. It's unbelievable. You know what I mean? But I mean, what can you expect? What more can you expect from, people who aren't very well educated? You know what I mean? What else can you expect from cashes, so man, I love the coaching hire. And then if Schefter wasn't enough, him saying they're working on it, him saying they're getting it done, well, the Miami Dolphins themselves, they came through, they announced it, they made it public for everyone. It is now official, and they're going to hammer it out tonight because the NFL does not like big announcements like this going on during Super Bowl week. And there you go. We have agreed to terms with Mike McDaniel. Welcome to Miami, coach. Honestly, guys, I'm so hyped. Part of me is hyped because I was right. Other part of me is hyped because I really think the major part of me is hyped because I think this is a fantastic hire. I think this is one of the best hires in this cycle. I I really do. If he makes it, if we see his coaching staff come together and he makes smart decisions and he does stuff that Flores wasn't doing, i.e., leaning on veteran coaches coming in, like we know John Emery's going to come in, Wes Welker's going to come in. Um, we knew all that, and it's going to be really interesting to see, like, if he can snag a Vic Fangio or a Wink Martindale and bring him to the defense. I'm really excited to see how he builds his staff. I think when we see him build his staff, it's going to tell us a lot. Now, I already expect the offensive line is going to look a lot different next year. We are going to go to a zone blocking scheme. I'm going to tell you right now, we are going full zone with this guy coming in here. And because we're going to going to a zone blocking scheme, like guys like Solomon Kinley, Jesse Davis, Eichenberg, you know, as shitty as we all think Austin Jackson is, the thing is he's athletic enough for a zone. His strength is in the screen game, right? He can pull really quick because he's fleet of foot. Now he needs to be cleaned up. If anyone's going to clean him up, Mike McDaniel going to clean him up. Dieter, I think, could last, and I do think Robert Hunt is just athletic enough to last. And, I do think I think running back is now seriously in play in free agency in the draft, clearly. You know what I mean? Clearly now, if Kenneth Walker is sitting there at 29, I think Kenneth Walker would be ridiculous in his offense. Like, I don't think, if people want to go with these comparisons with the Philbin and the Gases, guys, when have you ever seen Philbin or Gase innovative enough where they motion Trent Williams? Like, do you understand the conflict that causes? Do you understand the chaos that causes the defense when they see a big left tackle like Trent Williams motioning? Do you know what that does? Like, the innovation with this guy is off the charts. Off the charts with this guy. Like Gase and Philbin, even, like Sperano. As great as Sperano was with the Wildcat, none of those guys understand pre-snap and at the snap motion and utilize it the way Mike McDaniel does. None of them. Like, and now a guy like Terron Armstead. Terron Armstead makes a ton of sense. Hell, if Orlando Brown's available, he makes a ton of sense, but he won't be available. Like, Imagine if we would move up and be able to have drafted a guy like Evan Neal and plop him in as a tackle in this defense, in this offensive line. Ike McQuanu. Like, you look at all these guys, and now you go look at our weapons. Look at how Waddle, Bowden's going to come back and he can be used in that Debo role. I really think Mike Gesicki being back is on the table now. I know Mike Gesicki for a fact is trying to get paid like a receiver. And if you're to franchise him, you'd have to put a receiver. I know he's trying to push so he gets a wide receiver franchise tag, and I don't think they'll ever do something like that. But you look at the possibilities. Joint to Joint says, reason you were on top of this. Good call, buddy. Appreciate you, man. I said, hey, if we're going to experience, this is the guy you have to get. And, I don't care what anyone says. I'm calling him Big Mac. We got the Big Mac, baby. Mike Big Mac McDaniel. Let's go. We got the Big Mac in house. Yeah, Morgan Moses makes sense, Mountain Man Fishing. Roland Gray says, I was asleep and woke up to this. Let's go, baby. I'm going to drop the link to you guys soon. I just want to go over a few things, but let's hype him up a little bit because Mike McDaniel, that dude. Mike McDaniel, don't play with me when it comes to this football shit, people. Let's go. Let's go. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new, baby. Become a Patreon. Patreon on Thursday night. I told all of y'all what I was hearing, that this was going to be wrapped up by the end of the weekend. Mike McDaniel was going to be the new Dolphins head coach by the end of the weekend. That was on Thursday night exclusively on my Patreon. Boom. Sunday night, here we are. By the end of the weekend. And I never, ever, ever put out my name attached to days specifically or time frame specifically unless I'm 110% sure. But I knew how good this source was. They were locked in. They've been locked in. And boom, here we go. I love it, man. So Mike McDaniel is the new head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Let's go. Monday's going to feel a little bit sweeter. But an interesting thing, Marcel Louis-Jacques had to say, and that was this. Check this one out, guys. Mike McDaniel was so impressive during his first interview with the Dolphins, a 40 to 50-minute Zoom call earlier this offseason, that they were willing to wait to their final decision until they got him in the building. Second interview lasted most of Friday. He blew them away. Let's go. Vegas can go have Josh McDaniels. I don't give. You got the wrong guy with McDaniel in his last name, Vegas. I'm going to tell you that right there. And Don says, from an ignorant person, Gase, Lazar, and even Cameron were supposed to be offensive geniuses. Again, dude, all people got to do is research. See, people are getting hung up on the media telling you they're geniuses and savants. I guess I'm part of the media. Cool. But I was using the word savant before all these other people were. And then what happens? Yesterday, I show y'all 2 days ago, I show you an article where a receiver in the NFL calls him a savant. One of the best tackles in the last 20 years, Joe Staley. Listen to the interview he just had about Mike McDaniel. George Kittle, like Matt Breida. There's players that aren't even with the Niners anymore. See, when you listen to players say that, not just like media members, that's when you guys. But then when you got Robert Saleh saying that, then when you look at and you read the tea leaves and you see, okay, why didn't Kyle Shanahan block any of the LaFleurs? Right? Why didn't he block any of the LaFleurs? Why did he let them walk? But why did he make sure to block Mike McDaniel? Then you look into their relationship and you see how with Shanahan McDaniel was the only one Shanahan was letting do game plan installs, who was having input on play calling. This was the only guy he was letting do that. Then you look at he gets the reins as an offensive coordinator. Trent Williams, who we already know is one of the best left tackles in football, is the best player in football this year under him. Deebo Samuel goes from a good wide receiver to probably top 10 and the most underrated guy in the league right now. Brandon Ayuk has his best season under him. You see innovative wrinkles like the inside zone toss run. None of those guys had anything like that. He reinvented the Mike Shanahan offense as a intern. Then he reinvented this, revolutionized the Kyle Shanahan offense, as an OC. So he's revolutionized the Shanahan offense twice under two different Shanahans. None of those, Gase and all these guys, none of them did anything like that. None of them had credentials like that. You never saw genius at work in terms of, show me any one of those guys that had anything like the wrinkle of the inside zone toss run had this year with McDaniel and Elijah Mitchell. None of those guys had any of that. That's what I'm trying to say. It's different here when you actually start researching and when you start looking into it. There's a lot more meat on the genius bone than there ever was for Gase, Philbin, Cameron. And let's go even farther here. Did Gase, Cameron, or Philbin come from a tree like Shanahan that's producing AFC, NFC championships and Super Bowl appearances like the Shanahan tree has over the last 10 years? Because all that mind frame, all y'all trying to get in, that means you're telling me you would have said the same thing about McVay, and you would have said the same thing about Kyle Shanahan, and you would have said the same thing about LaFleur and Green Bay. And how would you look right now? Heat Fins 499 says Duke about to go crazy this year. And anyone comparing him to Don Shula, bro, Don Shula's name should not even be in this discussion. I don't know why people come into they did it last year. People were out here comparing Brian Flores to Don Shula, and I deaded that real quick. How do those people feel right now? Okay? There's only one Don Shula, and let's hope there's only one Mike McDaniel. Let him be his own man. King Me, Shanahan is the reason for everything he's saying. Okay, then why is McVay in the Super Bowl right now and Shanahan is not? Look at LaFleur's first 3 years as a coach in Green Bay. Shanahan ain't there. See, again, some of y'all don't even know what you're talking about. You just say things because you either like seeing your name highlighted in the comments or you like talking. Zach Taylor is from the Shanahan tree. Zach Taylor is in a Super Bowl. Did you know that? Zach Taylor, who a lot of people thought was a bad coach, including myself, is currently, look at what he's put together in Cincinnati. Kyle Shanahan got to a Super Bowl and an NFC Championship with Jimmy Garoppolo. Zach Taylor drafted Burrow and put them together. And McVay got to a Super Bowl last I checked with Jared Goff. We really want to go here with how bad Jared Goff is? Sean McVay made it with Jared Goff. Kyle Shanahan's made it with Jimmy Garoppolo. Mike McDaniel's made it with Jimmy Garoppolo. Are we seriously having this discussion? And here's the fact. Guess what? Zach Taylor built a better all-around team than Brian Flores did by the end of the end of this year. Yeah, obviously built a way better offense. And you look at how they upgraded their defense. Their defense was not as good as ours, but you look at technically they were better than ours because they were better than us in the regular season in almost every major statistical defensive category. So, I mean, this is legitimate facts. You cannot argue this. These are facts. Now, we might be more talented on the defensive side, but last I checked, Zach Taylor got more production. So you look at all these guys. Go look at the last 10 years. The NFC, AFC championship appearances and the Super Bowl appearances by Shanahan disciples. Go blow your mind. Rome Gray, I know you're in the comments right now. I know you're in the comments right now. Drop that. I know you got the stats on you. I'm gonna wait for Rome, and then we're gonna get into it a bit more here. So, um, I just, yeah, I'm really hyped, man. I think this is a good hire. I think this is one of the better hires in the NFL. Reason why do people want to move on with Boyer? I think people want to move on from Boyer because people are under the belief that he was calling plays for the first half of the season when we were in zone, and Flores was not, and then people believe Flores took it over. That's where I think it's coming from. That's that's what I'm led to believe. So I don't know whether that's true or not. And people are wondering about um people are wondering about Zach Taylor and what I'm talking about. Well, if you look at it, first he came up under Sherman under Texas A&M, I believe, right? Then if you look at it, how did Zach Taylor get the head coaching position at Cincinnati? He was under McVay. Zach Taylor got his head coaching promotion after coaching under Sean McVay in Los Angeles. He was a positional coach under Sean McVay in 2017. Then he got his head coaching shot after being under McVay. So again, you can link him to the Shanahan tree. That's where the link comes from with Zach Taylor. That's why they run a West Coast predominantly in Cincinnati. And the West Coast that they run is similar to what comes out of the Shanahan system. That's where your tie-in is with McVay. So I'm excited about this. I think this is a really, really, really good hire. And hey, here's another thing. People can have their doubts, whatever. Y'all want to live in your pessimistic realm, go do whatever you got to do. But last I checked, hey, this guy has got it done, man. This guy has got it done. And Tom Pelissero said this. He said, new Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel, who is multiracial, is the first minority head coach hired in this cycle, replacing Brian Flores, who filed a class action lawsuit last week regarding a lack of diversity in hiring. The 49ers will receive 2 third-round compensatory picks. So we are giving up 2 picks for Mike McDaniel. Rome says he badly wants Embry. Embry's going to be coming, Rome. I think John Embry and Wes Welker are going to be locks for his staff. So, I mean, this tells you how much they believe in him. They're willing to give up 2 third-round compensatory picks. And they aren't hiring Mike McDaniel because they got rid of Brian Flores. I told you guys about 4 weeks ago that I was hearing they were higher on Mike McDaniel than they were letting on to the media to believe. And here we go. This backs that up. Right? We all wondered, why were they willing to let Dable walk and not offer him a contract or swoop in when they knew the Giants wanted him? And this is why. They wanted Mike McDaniel the second time around. Rome, Embry, and Welker will be coming. I'm like 90% sure. They're compensatory picks. No, they won't receive our picks. They won't receive our picks. People asking me if they're going to receive our picks. No, they don't receive our picks. They're compensatory picks. So, but I'm just the firing of Brian Flores had nothing to do with Mike McDaniel. But I'm going to kill that narrative before people even try to spin that one. So I'm deading that before it even spins. It has nothing to do with Brian Flores, okay? I don't want that out there. And the 49ers will receive 2 compensatory picks in the 3rd round. So there you go. And now what they're trying to do is they're trying to flip that. They're also trying to add compensatory picks for teams through the Flores lawsuit. They want compensatory picks given to teams that hire as well. So, and remember, compensatory picks, when they get added to the 3rd round, extend the 3rd round. So it goes from 32 picks in the 3rd round to it can go up to like 40, 50. Happens every year, right? So, like for example, if Gesicki, if Gesicki signs a big contract, but he's tendered, we get compensatory picks for him. So, the 49ers will and the Dolphins were like, fine, give another team in the NFL compensatory picks. We don't care. We like our guy. Let's go. Let's go. Because Greer's always the guy that never wants other teams to get richer. And they were fine with another team getting richer draft capital wise. I mean, hey, look at off the Dolphins moves, between the Waddle, you look at the Trey Lance trade, right? And now this. I mean, the Dolphins have been good for 49ers business over the past year, haven't they? So, gonna be interesting to see how that rolls. But yeah, the 49ers will receive 2 compensatory picks, and this is the first minority hire of the cycle. And then this is what Mike Jones, who had to say about Mike McDaniel. And he said McDaniel was a ball boy for Mike Shanahan in Denver, and he played wide receiver at Yale. He's been coaching with Kyle Shanahan since Houston. Extremely bright, really good communicator, biracial, and would be the first head coach of color hired this cycle. See, that's what I'm talking about. The communicator. Guys, we got a good teacher. That's why I'm excited. We got someone who's actually a good teacher. Hallelujah. Because Flores was a good teacher, but he didn't on the defensive side, but he didn't put the right teachers in place on the offensive side. And it looks like Mike McDaniel, he's going to be the type. He's going to put teachers all throughout. All throughout. And that's what we need. We need teachers in that room. Man, I'm hyped. What a great hiring, man. About to open it up in a couple minutes. There's already 950 of you guys. Smash that like button. The Big Mac has landed. Mike Big Mac McDaniel is the new head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Let's go, baby. And just for everyone who's wondering, what did he do as an OC this year? Well, this is what he did as an OC this year. When you look at the team ranks for the offense of the San Francisco 49ers, they're somewhat impressive. You look at the list. Look at Gary Kubiak, Mike Petitine, Dan Quinn, Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan. Those are some good names he's been out under. Let's just put it that way. So you look at this right here. So, right, this is ranking, right? So you look at his offense. The offense was 7th in yards, 13th in points, 20th in giveaways. And as a rushing offense, they're 5th in attempts, 7th in yards, 5th in touchdowns, 16th in yards per average, 23rd in fumbles. As a passing offense, they were 29th in attempts, but 12th in yards, 14th in touchdowns, 14th in interceptions, and number 1 in net yards per attempt. And because the yak was through the roof under Mike McDaniel. So and that's just as an offensive coordinator. And y'all see, it was more impressive to me, doing what he did with what he had to work with out of the last four teams remaining in that were left standing on championship weekend. He clearly had the least amount out of the Chiefs, the Rams, the Bengals, and the Niners. He clearly had the least to work with, but he got them there. He did enough to get them there. So I like the hiring. I like the hiring a lot, man. I do think we got a coach that's going to turn around the culture a little bit. I think we got a guy who, it's just going to be a different vibe. I think people are going to enjoy coming to work under Mike McDaniel. I truly think people are going to enjoy coming to work under Mike McDaniel. Hammer says he sent a donation. Let me see. Hold on. So I haven't been looking at the comments. Okay. Who do you think he will bring in as his O-line coach? Well, there's a lot of options in this. You got Zach Yenser, Keith Carter, Chris Morgan, Rick Dennison. There's a lot of options right now. What if he goes and brings Mike Munchak? There's a lot of options right now on the offensive line coach. We'll start to see it come together, hopefully over the next couple days, right? We'll start hearing words about hires, right? And I do think, like I've said before, if Tua is ever going to be the guy we want him to be in a pro style offense, right? It's going to be in this West Coast offense that comes over here with Mike McDaniel. This is the perfect for his skill set. This is the perfect offense, right? And I think you might see something similar. I think you might see something similar to what they try to build. What they tried to build around Robert Griffin III in Washington. It was built around him and for him. And it highlighted his best attributes. Now, obviously, there's going to be differences because Tua's not the athlete, but I mean in the sense of McDaniel's going to try and build an offense that plays to his strengths, and he's going to build it properly around him. He's going to highlight his strengths, and he's going to minimize his weaknesses on the field as much as he can. Like this is a good hire. If they want to find out if they have something with Tua, this is a really good hire. So I do think John Embry and I do think Wes Welker will be on this staff. Because listen to it, guys. Listen. Kyle Shanahan look at the names he's had under him, right? Over 14 years in the NFL. Look at the names he's had under him. But the only guy he's made sure to bring everywhere he goes is McDaniel. That's the guy he's made sure he can't be anywhere without. So, San Francisco racking up comp picks, got 2 for Salah. Exactly. San Fran doing it. Playing it. I just, I'm so excited for this first press conference too. Like, I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked, man. I just think this is such a good hire. I really do believe in this hire a lot. I really do. It's just got the sense of, you look at the disaster around the Miami Dolphins right now, you look at everything going on, and this has a sense of the making of a 30 for 30. This has a sense of, look at this guy walked into this disaster situation and he turned it around. That's what that has. That's what the energy and the vibe you get is right now. And I'm not trying to sell anyone hope by any stretch of the imagination. Like, I just really believe in this coach. I mean, everyone knows I wanted him last year. It was him or Pep Hamilton I wanted as my OC. Um, um, so, you know, I I don't know, man. I truly believe this. I'm just working it out with a Crocky tomorrow. I might be early for you guys tomorrow. I might be live around 2 p.m. tomorrow. It's looking like, because oh sorry, sorry, my bad. Could you do 12 p.m. Central? So I might be live around 1 o'clock tomorrow. But we'll get it going. I'll keep y'all updated as I get it all sorted out. I'm gonna have Eric Crocker on tomorrow from Locked On 49ers, and we're definitely going to discuss Mike McDaniel. We're going to give you insight from a former football player, a former NFL player who covers the San Francisco 49ers. All right, we're going to give you that in depth. That we're gonna go deep. We're gonna try and get you as much coverage as we can in terms of the Mike McDaniel hire. And then we're going to go even deeper, right? Because now we get into, I get to do my top 10 free agent video. If you remember last year, I'll get into that. We'll start going into players I think will remain. Some guys I think will go. And we'll keep diving into it, man. We're going to obviously now I can start rolling with my big boards. I already have my running back big board ready to go. Yeah, this is huge, man. This is like finally some good news coming out. Finally, some good news. You know what I mean? Like it's about time. It really is. I'm just I'm hyped, man. I think this is a great move. I think we're about to see a little bit of a shift. And I think, you know what? If anyone's going to put together an offense that can score with all these other offenses in the AFC, Tua or not, it's going to be Mike McDaniel. It's going to be Mike McDaniel. Like, that's the thing. Now we got a guy who is putting up, and the thing is, he didn't have to do it with an elite quarterback, right? You know what I mean? He's built it the right way from the trenches back. So I think he's going to do it right. And I think he's going to be able to build an offense that can be sustainable with or without Tua Tagovailoa. That's a fact of the matter. I think he'll build an offense where you can plop whomever you need in there. Right? Once you get that offensive line taken care of, once you get that running game taken care of, it's just a matter of dropping someone in there. Like this is the type of guy that can set us up for success, whether Tua is successful or not. So, and I will say this. If this man brings in Pep Hamilton as an OC, and another name, a name that makes a ton of sense right now. A name that makes a ton of sense right now is Treylon Burke. You put him in this offense as your Debo. Like that's what it is. So, Scotty, when is as soon as McDaniels and Tua can sit down? He can Zoom call him right now. So we're about to find out what we got here. I can't wait. I'm excited, man. I am excited, and I really think we got one. I really think we got a. I'm gonna go out and say it. Last year, I called Robert Saleh the hire of the cycle. I think right now we have the hire of the cycle. Now, people might try and tell you, they might try and lie to you and confuse you and tell you that the hire of the cycle is Josh McDaniels, but we've seen that story a few times before. Jacoby will be gone. No, Jacoby is not staying around. So, you know, and now we get into the point of people are going to start. Now it's all about staff. What's the staff going to be? And already stuff is starting to come out. A tweet from just about 3 or 4 minutes ago from Peter Schrager came out, and I'm going to put it up here for you guys. Up here. And it says, he won't necessarily hire a new defensive coordinator, but this is what Peter Schrager is saying right now in regards to at least a little bit of his staff, and it's more so on the defensive side of the ball, because I'm not the offensive side of the ball will take care of itself under McDaniel. I'm not worried about that. It's now we got to worry about the defensive side. So it says Mike McDaniel won't necessarily hire a new DC. Josh Boyer will very much be in consideration. If Mike McDaniel goes the McVay, Wade Phillips, LaFleur, Mike Pettiton route of pairing with an ex-HC as his DC, there's been questions around NFL whether Vic Fangio would want to be a DC again in 2022. So Schrager here implying that Fangio could be in play if he wants to go under an ex-head coach. So Fangio could be in play here as the defensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins, potentially under him. They're going to do the same thing. Who plays backup to Tua? Man, Tyrod Taylor's a better option than Jacoby Brissett. Tyrod would fit better in his offense than Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett wouldn't fit well in his offense. It's going to be the same thing we just saw Dable going through over in the Giants. He was interviewing everyone. Even Patrick Graham was going to be interviewed. And then Patrick Graham decided to dip, and now he's going through the interview process. So, Fangio, yeah, Mr. C.W. Brown, we are going to his own blocking offensively. That's 110%. That's 110%. That's where we're going. There's no way we're going to be in a power gap scheme under this. There's just no way. I just do not foresee it happening. So, I mean, if this guy is going to bring in now a legit mind, or he's going to stick around with Boyer, I mean, I'd like to see what Boyer does on his own. I'm kind of interested. I'm kind of curious. A part of me does wonder a little bit, like what would he do? That does intrigue me just a teensy bit. So we'll see. We'll see how that all plays out. Peter Schrager, we'll see. Very interesting stuff. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop the link for you guys to come up here. I'll give you guys a chance to put in your 2 cents regarding everything. Guys, smash that like button. There's almost 1,000 of you in the room. Smash that like button. Go ahead, smash that like button. I'm opening it up now. Give you guys a second to get back here. I'm just it's going to be very interesting to see what new twists he tries to throw in. It's going to be primarily zone run, but I'm really interested to see. What goes down here. I see guys. Okay. Let me see here. Hold on. Let's do. All right, so we're gonna lock in tomorrow. We're gonna have Croc on around 1:30. I'll have him on tomorrow around 1:30. Okay. All right, let's open this up. Darth, Marcus, Crypto, Deparla, Sean, in sports, Florida born, Todd, KingZ305, and I apologize because I see that people are still trying to come backstage. What's going on, everyone? I told y'all we'd be back.
How are you guys?
It's good.
I told all of y'all we'd be back this weekend, so here we are.
Yeah.
It is a good
Damn, we needed that
Dolphins
news.
fan.
Oh man.
Yeah, like I've been saying since Flo and they put out the lists, I've been saying over the last history of the Dolphins has always went with the list. They've been transparent throughout the entire process. They have never changed and strayed away from it. They went with the list and they stuck with the guy that they were favored on the list that they published. That's all I've been trying to say from day one.
No, they had meetings with candidates that they did not have to announce.
Yeah, but throughout history, eventually it always came down to a guy that was on the list that they published. That's all I've been trying to say.
I mean, I guess
it's interesting that
I'll tell you right now, if that lawsuit didn't hit, Harbaugh would still be in play right now.
Yeah.
No,
and he wasn't on the list. Well, I don't care what you believe, bro. I'm telling you what the deal is, and I know this from someone who's far more in the know of what the in and ongoings is behind the scenes than you or I am, and someone who's employed in the league right now and employed in a coaching position had spoken to Harbaugh, and yeah, he would have been in play 110%. So
I know that's fine. I'm just going by what they've been consistently doing over the last 50 years in the Dolphins' history, including Stephen Ross.
They've been consistently lying to you publicly over the last 50 years. I mean, publicly they told.
I'm talking about as far as coaching hires. They've never lied to us about coaching hires.
Well, what are they supposed to lie about you? They keep things from you.
Either way, I wouldn't.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they're lying. I'm saying they keep things from you. If they don't have to announce them, and they made that known, they're not going to announce them to you. They only have to announce people they request interviews for.
No. What I'm saying is that they put out a list and they went by the list and they've only hired from the list that they made public and transparent.
I don't see why this matters. But anyways, it's interesting that
it doesn't because Harbaugh wasn't on the list and he was in play. So what are we really talking about right now?
Yeah, I don't
Well, the reason sometimes.
No, I'm just saying because Harbaugh wasn't hired.
Yeah, because of the lawsuit.
Right.
We weren't going to hire any. We weren't going to hire any experienced head coach after that lawsuit hit. No one was going to touch us with a 10-foot pole.
There's a difference between transparency on the Dolphins' part and then transparency because the coach may be in a position where he requires transparency. Some of these, there's guys that we're looking at hiring that don't have a job, and then there's guys that we're looking at who maybe don't want their current employer to know they're looking in case they don't get the job. So certain guys require transparency for their own personal reasons, and the Dolphins may grant them that versus the other guys that they're transparent to their fan base because, everybody knows they're up for a position.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yep. We don't have them. There wasn't that many openings left.
No, it was certainly we were running out of time a little bit.
Well, there are plenty of candidates available. They didn't like Bieniemy. They didn't request.
I'm
that whole
curious
reason why is because of Bieniemy isn't believed to be. Kafka and Andy Reid are the ones that are given the props for Mahomes' success. Bieniemy's basically looked at as a placeholder, and he has a really sketchy history. So that's why that
history?
guy.
You don't think Andy Reid is blocking him?
No,
he's actually encouraging.
No, he's interviewed the last 2 years, man.
You're not allowed to block anymore. The NFL changed the rules.
And the reason why is because, correct me if I'm wrong, Todd. What was it? Georgia Tech he was at, where the
Colorado,
where all those allegations and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's had
players
three separate
raping
incidents.
girls and shit.
Yeah,
under his watch.
Yeah, Bieniemy interviewed
assault.
with the Broncos.
And he's had I think DUI or something like that too, right?
A DUI and assault with a valet.
And then the players raping his players in Colorado allegedly raping women under his watch and stuff like that. Like, and I'm not talking about like one player. I'm talking like 3 or 4 players.
That's not encouraging.
That's why you have to sometimes be careful between, who the media pushes as the hot candidate and then who actually is gaining traction in the NFL. Because
and a reason why a lot of teams didn't touch McDaniel, people are like, oh, why didn't he interview for other teams? You think the fact that he's open about his alcoholism didn't scare off certain teams?
100%.
Probably 110%.
It's good output.
You want to talk about prejudice and discrimination? I guarantee you there's discrimination. This guy's he's only been sober since January 2016, I think. So 5 years, right? So there were teams that are afraid of that, right? Like kudos to Stephen Ross and Chris Greer for saying, yo, we believe in you. We don't care about that, and we're willing to let you come down to a city like Miami and do your thing. That should give you even more respect for them looking past something like that, because I'm telling you, after what just went on with Henry Ruggs, do you think Vegas would even hire a guy like Mike McDaniel?
Ooh, hell no.
No, they'd be real slow to do that. Yeah.
Right? And like, think about McDaniel. Thank you, Mike McDaniel, for wanting to come here, because no one wanted to touch this job with a 10-foot pole after that lawsuit hit. No one wanted, no respectable, experienced head coach was going to come here to take the reins and be the guy that fills those shoes. No one was going to do that, man.
That's the perfect candidate, man.
It really is.
Guy.
Man.
Yeah.
It
really is.
Well, I hope it works.
And you went into the Shanahan tree, bro. Like, they just showed it, talking about all the guys that left McVay. The University of Kentucky, bro. Our offense is horrible.
But all these people defended Flores and us picking from the fucking Patriots. Mm-hmm. The Patriots way, the Patriots tree, blah, 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 blah.
That don't do shit.
Who don't produce coaches. But we are actually picking from a tree that over the last 10 years, let's call a spade a spade. Over the last 10 years, did we not just pick from the most successful tree over the last 10 years?
100.
Yeah, and he's the coach that's worked longest with Shanahan.
Exactly.
Like, they've been together the longest.
What's so literally,
do people not realize Mike Shanahan, one of the greatest coaches of all time, said to his son, this guy's special, don't let him leave you. That's why this guy's been coaching for 16 years, and 14 of those he's been with Kyle. Like, he literally said, Mike was like, here you go, son. Here's a diamond that's going to help you along the way. Like, and no one wants to put stock in that. Like, that doesn't matter. Like, shit, Gase never had an endorsement like that. Philbin never had. Who endorsed Philbin and Cameron?
Well, that's
what I'm saying. All these people that talk this shit about Philbin and Cameron, who endorsed those guys? Bro. Tell me who endorsed them.
Yeah, I mean, the guy did like stupid little tedious tasks, like he would put overlays on the play calls. Like, he was the only one willing to do that on the staff of Shanahan. So I mean, this guy's really detailed. Like, he knows what the fuck to do. He's a Yale graduate. Like, this guy is smart. Yeah, and every player trusts him.
And he's our last. He's our
and he
first
also
coach.
played football. Yeah.
He's our first coach in 20 years that hasn't ridden a Hall of Fame quarterback's coattails.
Thank you.
To get
you.
I mean,
no nepotism there.
Flores and Tom Brady and Philbin and Aaron Rodgers and Gase and Peyton Manning, they made their bones with elite quarterbacks. And, I mean, he's done it with run-of-the-mill quarterbacks and innovated with every single one of them. Added
Not
a
just
wrinkle to
quarterbacks,
an
but
NFL
running
offense
backs.
that hasn't been there
Todd,
before.
I can confidently say he's the only person in the NFL who not only would be smart enough to, but also have the balls to motion Trent Williams.
100%.
See, that's what we deal with people that don't understand everything. They don't understand the conflict and the chaos that causes a defense
How do you
on the field in the moment. How do you prepare for that? They couldn't. They never thought they'd see it, and then they see it. What do you do?
What do you do? And you're seeing it once a week. Remember, you're seeing it in a 1 week. You're preparing for it in 3 days of practice time, and you don't even have somebody on the field to duplicate that to get you ready for it. Your scout team doesn't have Trent Williams to put in motion during the week to prepare for it.
Shout out
it's
to Lily.
unbelievable.
She says Vic and Mike McDaniel have the same agent.
That's good. Bringing Vic, man.
I'm telling you, this guy's understanding of motions at the snap and pre-snap. Dolphin fans aren't ready. Why do you think they wanted him so? Like, if you look at what Greer wanted last year, because that was Greer going out to like Pep Hamilton, Mike McDaniel, Matt Canada. He was clearly looking for innovative minds with motion and look wise and creativity. And Shanahan blocked McDaniel. Matt Canada has decided to stay in Pittsburgh, right? And you go look at what's happened now, and it's, dude, people don't understand the creativity they're going to see. Like, this is the type of shit that's going to give a mind like Belichick fits.
Why is everyone so doom and gloom on Twitter? Like, Jesus.
I know, bro.
It's Twitter.
No.
People wake up pessimistic. I don't get it.
I'm not even going to get excited, or I'm reading this one tweet. I'm not even going to get excited for this, bro,
No.
because we're going
You
to
know
be
why
in
you
the
get
same
excited?
spot.
Check my avatar.
It's PTSD.
That's why
Like,
we've
Dolphins
been
been beat
right
down.
there, baby.
Mike
Nice.
McDaniel's like, it's not just quarterbacks.
Dolphins
it's
been
running
beat
backs.
down
Like,
for so long.
Mike Breida was
Yeah,
undrafted.
Not Brady,
That's
yeah.
why.
Who was Mostert? Who was he?
Well, look at Elijah Mitchell was from a small school, and they took him in the 5th round. Look at the year he had this year.
And then he also boosted like blocking of George Kittle, like always putting all the tight ends and running backs constantly in motion. Like, it's pretty crazy what he did. So,
Well, if he can get Gesicki,
that's what people don't
block.
understand. People don't understand that. Like, and I've been like, since you've talked about him, like I've just been reading all the stuff that this guy's done. You didn't hear any of that stuff with Case, with Philbin or anything,
And you know what's crazy? If you can actually get Austin Jackson to, decent with his technique and like a viable option, that's your perfect guy to pull. And that's your perfect guy to motion with.
He's a better
so
run
fast.
blocker than pass blocker anyways.
He's so fast for a guy his size.
Yeah. He's a much better run blocker than he is pass blocking. So it'll work out in that scheme.
I think this is people out here trying to like, I see my whole thing is, okay, people want to compare him to, Gase or Philbin or whatever, but then you ask them, okay, why are they like that? And all they can ever give you is face value answers. They can never give you a real in-depth answer as to why he's the same. You know why? Because they don't know what they're talking about. They're just trying to be cool and hip, and they're just trying to sound like that. Like and that's my issue. Like, just admit you're out of your depth and you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Stop trying to tell all these fans stuff you don't know about. Like, I'm tired
Kelly
of it, man.
Omar Kelly
I've
posted
opened it. I've opened it.
Yeah, he was number 2 behind my Coldwell.
Omar Kelly just
he
posted this article on Sun Sentinel, and he's confirming that they're pursuing Vic Fangio. He said Mike McDaniel's first order of business as the Miami Dolphins' new head coach is to put together a quality staff, and it appears one of his top targets will be former Denver Broncos head coach Vic Fangio. Fangio, who led the Broncos to a 19-30 record in his 3 seasons, has served as the defensive coordinator for 5 NFL teams and 1 college program during his 36 seasons as a coach in the college or NFL. McDaniel, who's finalizing his own contract with the Dolphins after being chosen over Kellen Moore following their weekend interviews, will be required to interview at least one minority candidate for his coordinator positions because of the alterations made to the Rooney Rule last year, which were intended to improve the NFL's diversity in its coaching ranks. But according to a leaked source, Fangio, who also has interest from other teams, which include the New York Giants, sits atop McDaniel's list of assistants he wants to coach the Dolphins defense.
It's good news.
So they are going to let him.
Look at this guy's already
Yeah, we don't
doing what
need Boyer.
Flores
Man.
didn't do
Yes.
in day one.
Yes. He's already doing better.
One. There you go.
I'd be so
This
happy
guy
if we
was-
get Fangio.
I'll be honest, I didn't want a first-time head coach again because it's been too long and I've seen this fail too many times. But of the first-year guys, McDaniel was absolutely the top of the list, right? So
Well, a lot of people are Dable.
Yeah,
Dable,
he's
Dable.
my number 2 overall behind.
Dable
Yeah.
concerned me for a few reasons. Like the fact that he's kind of bounced around a lot, and I mean like a lot, is like, I mean like, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're bad, but it's funny that you've been gone up, gone down, gone up, gone down, and it's like, I'm curious to see where he goes when he gets it, now that he's finally got his shot, but I'm just not convinced that he's going to be anything exceptional because, you know, probably would have been taken before, right?
That's your Adam Gase.
Mhm.
Dayball's your Adam Gase.
I'm starting to think that because Dayball really wasn't
Well, ask yourself
anything.
this, John. How impressed were the Dolphins really with Dable's first interview if they only had like a 40, 50-minute Zoom with Mike McDaniel and they were willing to risk Dable to get McDaniel in there for a second time? That tells me that in 40 or 50 minutes, this guy had way more impact in 40, 50 minutes than Dable had in the couple hours they gave him.
That was Marcus' reason, not me.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, Marcus, whatever.
Yeah.
The point still stands.
No, absolutely. I think maybe it's because they saw Gase and they kind of maybe they made that connection themselves. I don't know. That is an interesting comparison though, because you get this guy who basically is a nobody in the NFL until he stumbles into a really great quarterback, and then all of a sudden he's the talk of the town as far as his, you know, offensive coordinator position. Like with Eric Bieniemy, it's like, really, you do have to consider the fact that Mahomes and Reed are also in Kansas City, right? So even if he is good, how much can he really shine when you've got these positions that are already filled with greatness, right? It's like it's very interesting to consider. So I was scared of him because of that he's not done anything until he finally gets a quarterback that is able to make the best out of bad plays. Because I saw some bad plays in their KC game where it felt like Allen was the reason the play succeeded instead of the play call that was made, right?
Yeah. Shout out to Leonard Solomon, donated $5. Said Mike McDaniel soon to be featured on the introduction of Phinside the NFL. Let's go. You damn right. When he gets one of his speeches, you damn right I'm gonna get him up here.
We gave him a 4-year contract.
Mike Jones, let's go.
4 years.
Well, we gave Flores a 5-year contract. So.
Dable's in another conference, so
I'm super excited, man. Super excited.
So, what old school song is Mike McDaniel gonna pull up in while he's driving his dually truck?
mhm.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm really just, man, excited about us finally having the opportunity to have a run game, like on the offensive side of the ball.
Oh man.
Like if you look at what San Fran did in the zone scheme and the way they run block and the way they ran the football, it just opened so much up for the passing game. So I'm really looking forward to the run game being successful and Tua being able to hit those play action shots. Like a lot of guys, a lot of times, San Fran's wide receivers were running wide ass open. So he's going to be able to hit those shots and he's going to know where those shots are. Because Mike McDaniel is just going to put him in the position to succeed in the offense just because the run game is going to open everything up tremendously, man. So I'm really looking forward to the run game because we haven't had a run game here. And, man, since Ricky Williams and Ronnie Brown, man, it's been a long-ass time.
Well, we had 1 year of J.J.
Boy,
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was a fluke year. too. But
And I'm interested to see the offensive line turnover.
Yeah.
Schefter said Dolphins gave their new head coach, Mike McDaniel, a 4-year contract per source. So there's your 4 years
4
confirmed.
years.
So we'll find
Dolphins
out
Olympics.
if it's fully guaranteed. We'll find out sooner or later. That's for sure. Because if I was him, I would have said you're fully guaranteeing this shit after what I just saw you guys. I'm sorry.
Will McDaniel see the ray of sunshine behind the Flores cloud?
The rose that blooms
Amen,
through
man.
the rose that blooms through the concrete, baby. Let's go.
Let's
Because
go.
I'm gonna tell you right now, guys. Even if Tua gives you top 15, if this guy produces a top 10 offensive line, a top 10 running game,
we'll win.
Yeah.
we're gonna win.
Yep.
We're gonna win.
See, people are gonna be focused on what this guy's gonna be doing with Tua. No. I'm focused. Sure, part of it's Tua. I'm focused on how he's gonna stabilize our offensive line and how he's gonna get our run game. So if Tua don't work out, God forbid Tua don't work out, he could just move on in year 2 when we got 2 first-round picks and he can plop a new guy behind there and we're ready to go with no
Don't miss a beat.
Yeah,
You don't miss a
exactly.
beat.
A
You don't miss a beat.
little bit of a learning curve, but like Crypto said, we don't miss a beat. A little bit of a learning curve, but also he's smart enough where guess what? Y'all think Tua going to be throwing 30 or 40 times a game under Mike McDaniel?
No.
You really think we're going to be seeing
It's going to go down to about
Tua?
20, 29, 25 to 29 at the most.
Bro, you know how excited I am
at
for
most.
Tua Tuesdays this year, bro?
Yes, sir.
I don't got fucking 25 minutes of Tua dropbacks I got to break down because these guys don't know how to put together a proper offense. Anyways, I heard on 49er chat room they're not happy they lost McDaniel to us and that Lynn will be calling their plays. Hey, man, the writing was on the wall when Anthony Lynn was hired.
Reason, do you think we'll draft a fullback now?
That's it.
Hey, man, the writing was on the wall. Dark Logan got some crazy feedback going on.
Reason.
Do I think
I'm so
fullback's
excited,
on?
bro.
Yeah, I think fullback's in play.
Because
Bro.
Kyle
Juszczyk.
Cechek just.
I think we already got one
posted
on the
a
roster
tweet.
now, right?
Hold on,
Crazy.
say again. Hold on. Go ahead, John. What did you say?
Kyle Cechek just was tweeted out that he praising Mike McDaniel.
Buddy, if that guy was a free agent, I'd be like so happy right now, bro. Like,
I think they said
So-
the fullback from the Ravens is a free agent, and I think they said that Cam Hayward's brother is coming out. That he's pretty good. His little brother.
dude, it's such a lost art, eh? Like,
that
I
dude
remember the
from
days of like
Baltimore.
Mike Allstott and stuff. Like
Right.
that,
Holy crap.
Yeah.
with the neck roll and everything like that. You
Yeah.
know? With the
We need
Brian
like
Cox
a,
neck roll.
we need
Also,
like a
was
tight end,
beast,
a
bro.
tight end fullback hybrid. That's what we need. Like somebody like
having
that.
another offensive line.
You know what we need?
Oh, you mean Ethan
CB83.
Carter?
We need
What we
Treylon
need?
Burke to fall to us at 29.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
Do you think
Yeah,
he
that
can
would
fix
be-
Austin Jackson with this zone blocking scheme?
If anyone, well,
I
if
think
anyone can,
Austin
it'd be
Jack-
him.
I think
Yeah,
Austin
in the run
Jackson
game he
saves-
will. Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, he does.
So athletic.
Yeah,
What do we
yeah.
That's
do with
what's gonna
Eichenberg?
save.
What do we do
That's
with
what's gonna.
Eichenberg? Yeah. Think
That's
so?
what's gonna save Austin Jackson with the Mike McDaniel regime.
Yeah.
Is his feet and his athleticism and his profile. Now he's
They
still a
got-
shit show, and you got to put things together in terms of technique and footwork wise. But he's got all the tools there that McDaniel can make that work to some capacity.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think
Especially if
Dieter,
he's-
him,
I
and
think
Hunt
Austin
would just
Jackson
say-
wouldn't benefit from this hire.
Yeah, him, Dieter, and Hunt, I could see being
Robert
safe.
Hunt.
Kinley, bye. Like
Oh, yeah.
you're way too much of a power gap guy.
What about Liam?
Liam is not athletic enough,
Okay.
right?
Nah,
He's also not
Liam,
strong
Liam
enough.
can't block. He can't block those DNs out there.
Yeah.
running like
Well,
that.
and then
No.
and then you
not a
can't
tackle.
you can't kick him in the guard because he's 302 pounds and doesn't have an anchor.
Yeah.
So
So I
you
think-
can't
You think
use
there's
him.
a chance?
So,
You think
so
there's
then
a
we
chance
got
they-
get rid of Jesse Davis. Someone will be
so we got Dieter,
Jesse Davis.
Yo,
possibly
honest-
Austin Jackson.
honestly-
Who else
Hey.
would he retain?
Hunt.
You think?
Hunt,
Hey,
Hunt.
Okay.
You think that Austin Jackson?
Robert Jones. I think they're high on Robert Jones. I think he would stick
Think so?
around.
Yeah, he's gonna
Okay.
be
He
good.
should. He earned it after.
Hey, I'm not,
But I
I'm
think you're
not
gonna
sure.
see, dude, they're gonna about to spend money on the offensive. You can.
We're gonna
bet
need a
your
center.
ass
Please, God.
He's
I
walking
think they
away.
were-
Guys,
I
I
think they
was
replaced
excited about his
Dieter.
game plan. I'm like, yo, this is what I want to do. This is who I want to target, bro. Because if I'm already hearing he's saying to them, I want to target Fangio, you know he's saying,
Exactly.
I want Taron Armstead. You know
Yeah.
he's saying, I want Taron Armstead.
Yes.
You
Bro,
know
that way
he's
all
saying
he's
that.
got to focus on is the
That's
offensive
the
side of the ball. Let
offense.
Vic handle the defensive side. It's
Yo,
perfect, man.
I
just
think
want-
I
don't
think
want
he
that to be
replaces
another
Dieter.
Brandon
Though.
Albert.
I do think he replaces Dieter with a veteran though.
Maybe Ryan Jensen.
Jensen, please.
No,
Yeah,
no. Jensen at center is what I want, but Dieter at guard. I'm not talking
Dieter at
about him
guard.
at center.
Yeah.
No, I'm
So you
not
think
talking about
that-
him at center. I'm talking about him staying on the team as a guard.
I don't
I
think
want to see
he-
video.
I don't know if
Jackson move
Dieter's
back to
has
tackle.
enough in his.
King Z 305. I had to open it up for EM just because everyone else has got a lot of input, so I had to open it up for EM. EM wants to come up here. His brothers are hardcore Niner fans, so he's about to come up here.
Do you think there's a chance they move Austin Jackson back to tackle?
No way. No way.
No.
Or is he
way.
just staying at guard?
I just
Stays
want
at
to see
guard.
video of Mike McDaniel walking into the building and then looking at the offensive staff and saying, F you, F you, F you, you're out.
Yeah. Bro, I want to see what Kari pulls up in. If he pulls up into like one of those Volkswagen Beetles that come with the flower, we're really
It'll be a Beetle bus. You know, one of those.
It's got 1972 embroidered on
Yeah,
it.
one of those VW vans.
Listening,
The 1972.
listening to some
yeah,
Easy
the
E
surf
rolling
fans,
down the
yeah.
street.
Well, that man rolling up to Pink Floyd. Let's not.
Oh, there's already memes about Mike McDaniel being happy after
Volkswagen-
receiving
King Z03,
1K.
Volkswagen
King
surf fan,
Z305. I'm opening it up for EM, bro.
Darn.
So I gotta keep you out back. EM, it's open. Rhino, if you want to come up, I'll open it up for you. Let me know.
A reason, what personnel from the 49ers you think most likely will come along with them?
If you got guys who
Wes
need
Welker's
to
gonna
come
come.
on, I can hop
No,
off,
I'm
but,
talking about as far as players. That prominent free
players.
agents, as far as the players.
One to look out for, I think, quietly is Jeff Wilson Jr.
Okay, because
listen,
sometimes,
I just
players
wanna ask-
tend to follow their coaches, so they free agents.
Sorry. I do
were
just want to
saying
ask one
Raheem
question
Mostert
before
and maybe
I
Laken
head off
Tomlinson.
to let someone else on. But do you think that McDaniel was always their number one, or do you think they wanted Harbaugh more? They just couldn't
No.
get him in time before the lawsuit crap came out.
McDaniel.
I think
Yeah,
Harbaugh.
I think it
was
Harbaugh
Harbaugh.
was the desire of Ross.
Mhm.
McDaniel was the desire of Chris Greer,
GM.
and then Chris Greer. Harbaugh was in the back pocket. Harbaugh wasn't played till the lawsuit hit, but so was McDaniel just as much. Harbaugh backs out, lawsuit hits, McDaniel's the guy. Like I knew, I was told from the same person that told me that this would be wrapped up by this weekend on Thursday night that I posted on Patreon. That same person told me that Kellen Moore, when he interviewed the first time, they thought he wasn't ready. Like I thought Kellen Moore was like a dummy interview from the beginning.
Okay.
I don't want
Do you
nobody
think they
from the
made the right
Cowboys
choice
anyways,
ultimately,
huh?
going with McDaniel
Hell
over
no.
Harbaugh?
They didn't have a choice with Harbaugh. Harbaugh pulled out.
I'm saying in a theoretical world, if they could have gotten both, which one would you have preferred?
I'd take Harbaugh over McDaniel.
Yeah, I think so too.
You got
But if you're gonna go like see McDaniel right now, it's coming out. Fangio is at the top of his wish list, right? And that's who we're chasing as our DC. Buddy, if Harbaugh was here, Fangio would be fucking walking in the door right now. He would have probably drove him to the interview, bro.
Fair enough.
So you know what I mean? Like
Makes sense.
you know, Harbaugh. I got to go with the track record, bro. Like you know, you got to look at it objectively. Anyone who tells you objectively that they would take Harbaugh over McDaniel.
No, that makes sense. It's the experience.
I'm
honestly,
on
that I think-
Yellowstone right now, so anyone who's watched Yellowstone, anyone who tells you that is smoking embalming fluid. Okay, so
all right. Well,
let me
thanks for
say-
having me on. You guys
Appreciate you, man.
take care.
Take care.
Yeah,
bud,
bro.
Marcus.
How you feeling, dude? Like your brothers. Tell everyone your brothers are 49er fans. What are they? They must be.
Yeah, they're
They're
first
living.
off, how's my audio, bro? I'm on
You're good.
speakerphone right now.
You're
Am I good?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, they're sick right now, both of them. They throughout this process, when he was first rumored to be coming to Miami as a potential head coaching candidate, I told you privately that they did not want to see him go. They always they emphasized the fact how high Kyle Shanahan was high on him in such high regard. He held him from his mind, his implementation, obviously in the run game, and the overall offense, and they didn't want to see him go. And so hey, their loss is our benefit. Hopefully, I'm eagerly anticipating to see how creative he gets with not just with Tua, but obviously the run game, and also with
Waddle.
Waddle as well as Lynn Bowden. You know, a lot of people are focused on Waddle, but if you look at from a creativity standpoint, a lot how they use their wide receivers, Lynn Bowden, along with Waddle,
That's
is
your
a
Debo.
player that I'm very intrigued by.
Yes.
You know, in this offense, bro, because if you go back to, you know, we used him in particular the second half of 2020. How they used Debo Samuels, we were using Lynn Bowden, in the same format. Run, line them up in the backfield, flanking them outside the backfield, and use them as a running back. So line them up in the slot, the boundary, et cetera.
He played quarterback too, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
so
You're everyone knows you're from Arkansas too, so you follow the Razorbacks a little bit.
Mhm.
How perfect do you think Treylon Burks would be for McDaniel's offense if he's there at 29, which we all know he won't be?
I think he would. I definitely think, his skill set, what he brings, would enhance what we have, bro. But I just don't think, like you just said, I don't think he's going to be there. So really, to be honest with you, I'm not even trying to get my hopes up. Potentially reason. I'll be, as we all know, we've all been let down, in the past. And so I'm just, with him particular, I just don't think it's a snowball chance of hell we get him. We actually have a chance to get him. So, but definitely would be beneficial. But in terms of Mike McDaniels, I really do, from a passing game standpoint, I don't think conceptually it'll be that much different from what we've already seen with Tua in particular this year. A lot of horizontal based concepts, timing, rhythmic passing, RPO. I think he's going to implement. If you look at San Francisco's offense, a lot of similarities to what we've seen this year. The difference, I think, and what I'm most excited about is his what type of schemes, the diversity in the run game is what he potentially could bring. So, one thing about it, if he does, and more likely he will, bring that type of, approach from San Francisco, you touched on this a little while ago, Reason, from a personnel standpoint to what we already have, what type of players is he going to look at and say, that player's skill set fits what I like to do. So that's going to be something I'll be looking forward to in the coming weeks, leading up to free agency, to see how they feel about the players we already have in house. So, but he's held in high regard around the NFL, obviously. Like I told you, my brothers, they're sick right now, and they think, they think in particular, they think there's going to be a letdown in particular, maybe, especially early in the season. They think it's going to be a letdown. You have a second-year player, a young development player with Trey Lance. They're high on Trey Lance, they're at ceilings, but the loss of McDaniel, his contribution to offense,
it's gonna
as
hurt.
well as his, the normal learning curve from a second-year player, they're anticipating a letdown, especially early on in the season. So we'll see how that works out. But I'm just glad the Dolphins have, he was obviously the choice, the apple of their eye, and they got their guy. And bro, let's get it. Let's get it.
Can I ask you this? I know he's not hired yet, but people out here asking if he can put a staff together, and he's already out here chasing those Vic Fangio down. Are we really going to question whether this guy knows the type of staff he needs to put together or not? I mean, that tells you. Oh, check this out. A 49ers fan came in here. He said, dropping in to say you guys got a hell of a mastermind. Good luck for real.
Yep.
Guys, tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to have Eric Crocker on, former NFL DB. Now he does Locked On 49ers on the Locked On Network.
That's what's up.
And we're going to be breaking down Mike McDaniel. For all of you guys, I'm going to bring you as much information as I can from the Niners side. So we're going to go in deep, man. And you already know what it is. Check the avatar, baby. Let's go. Let's go. And you know what? Guess what?
Let's do it.
If someone comes in and beats Tua out in a competition during training camp,
Okay.
I trust Mike McDaniel to make that decision.
Absolutely.
If after 1 year, he comes to the guys and said, guys, we got 2 first-round draft picks this year. I only can do so much with Tua. There's a guy in this draft I can target that I think we can get. Let's go get him. I trust Mike McDaniel. Let's go. So, I'm going to be consistent. I told you, whether we hired a Harbaugh or Caldwell or Mike McDaniel, what did I say? If that guy comes in and says Tua's the guy, I trust him. If they come in and say Tua's not the guy, I trust them. Because they know more than all of us in this community combined when it comes to the offensive side of the football.
Facts.
Hey, and reason on offense, these wide receivers, these tight ends, these fullbacks, they're gonna have to block their ass off. So any of these dudes who are wide receivers right now and tight ends on our team that aren't blockers and aren't willing to commit to that.
Just say his name, DB.
Just say his name.
Hey, I saw a tweet where
DVP should be gone.
You really think Gesicki's going to be gone, though? I think he's going to see this guy as too big of a weapon.
Like,
bring in Damian Pierce.
I saw what people were saying now.
Go ahead, Ian.
They were saying about how they can't wait to see what he does with Mike Gesicki. I'm like, what? Mike Gesicki? Are you kidding? Everybody has to block. Everyone.
Everybody has to block.
Tight ends as well as wide receivers, bro. I'm sure he's going to pull up Mike Gesicki's tape and look at him like, God damn, I can't work with that. There's no way.
Especially for the price tag.
Matt Collins is his
I'm keeping it
replacement.
real. We all know coaches are egotistical to some degree. I'm worried that he's going to see the offensive potential and he's going to say, I can fix him. That's what, because if you fix Mike Gesicki, I agree 110%. But if you fix Mike Gesicki with the blocking and the willingness,
he'd be devastated.
Right?
He'd be absolutely
Oh, man.
And that's what I'm worried about. I agree with you guys. I would let him walk.
Let him test the market.
I would start molding.
Big of a gamble, bro.
I would, and here's the other thing. I was talking to someone plugged in yesterday. Dude, apparently, he was telling the staff over the last couple weeks of the season, I only want to line up in the slot or on the boundary.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
And what he was trying to do, he's trying to get paid like a receiver.
Trying to get that.
No, Gesicki has to go, bro. Mike
Gesicki on mama can't make him.
He has to go.
Man.
He blocked all his fans on Twitter.
We got his
Yeah,
replacement.
he's
Matt
got to
Collins.
test the market.
I didn't get blocked. I'm
We already
still
got the guy
standing,
to
bro.
replace Gesicki.
He's got to go.
So
I'm going to tell you right now, no lie, get ready for Terry Armstead being one of the top free agents on my list. Under this scheme.
Bring him.
He needs
Under this scheme, yeah. I just hope he can stay healthy because I know the last 2 years he's kind of been battling it. But tell that. I would call the Saints and say, you want some relief? What do you want for Ryan Ramchuk right now?
what do you think about?
I saw a report, bro. I saw a report where Raheem Mostert might be a potential trade target for the Dolphins.
Woo!
Makes sense.
Please God. Please God.
Dude, and another one I'm telling everyone to watch, EM, he's going to be a free agent. Sneaky signing, Jeff Wilson Jr. Watch. Because whenever he's healthy, he steps in. When all the big names go down, Jeff Wilson's the guy they plug in and they don't miss a beat with on that offense that not enough people talk about.
Raheem Morgan, man. The scheme is solid.
What about Leonard Fournette? You think we could go after a guy like that for our running back?
He's not really a zone scheme guy to me. I mean, I feel like he's more of like a gap guy.
Yeah.
I think Fournette he's scheme diverse. I think he can flourish in any approach. But I think people just look at his size and his physicality in his game. They automatically want to pigeonhole him into one scheme. Leonard Fournette has clearly proven he can flourish in any type of format. But hey, something was interesting.
They run a zone. It's a zone. It's an outside zone scheme in Tampa.
Exactly.
I was actually researching it today because I want Ryan Jensen. And I'm like, okay, boom, perfect.
Remember we picked up Salvon Ahmed off the San Francisco 49ers practice squad last year?
Yeah.
At that time, bro,
you're starting the Gaskin hype train right now, aren't you?
No. Actually, it's the Salvon Ahmed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know.
People need Salvon Ahmed because at that time, San Francisco did not want to lose him, but they left him. He was on the practice squad, so we poached him. So obviously McDaniel was there. He's familiar with his skill set. He might be high. He might be high on Salvon Ahmed as well. So we might see. I know I was one. Myself included. I was one that thought maybe Ahmed going into next season, if they keep Duke Johnson, if they kept Philip Lindsay, and obviously I think Miles Gaskins makes this team. I thought he might be the odd man out, but who knows? He might come in and like.
I'm on the.
And the
I'm
other
on
thing
the-
too is
don't
here,
really-
like
they don't really need to block
Tyler
his
here
team
says
like that.
$4.99. He said in Kittle's contract it said he had to stay with McDaniel. No, he asked for an addendum in his contract that as long as he was a
That's
49er,
so
Mike McDaniel
big,
couldn't
bro.
leave. But I'm gonna tell you this right now: at 29, all of a sudden, Breece Hall, Isaiah Spiller, and especially in a Mike McDaniel offense, Kenneth Walker.
Oh yeah.
All of a sudden make a lot of sense because we won't be picking till what 40 what was it 49 what is it 49 or
I
what
want to say
what
46.
what draft pick did we have in the first round? What was our pick that we gave?
20. Oh,
No, not
Oh,
we got
fuck.
29 because of San Fran.
yeah, right.
What does Philly
15?
have?
Oh,
15?
I think they were
That's what I
15.
thought.
15, okay. So that means we would be picking at 47 around.
47. Yeah.
So
47.
I'm going to tell you right now,
Around 50,
Isaiah Spiller,
Yeah.
Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, and even my boy Kyron Williams.
I was
Look at
just
the
about to
past.
say.
Look at the past two drafts. All top 3-4 guys are usually gone
Yep.
once you start entering the mid 40s. So they might have to pull the trigger at 29 if they want a legit running back. Because I'm of the belief of I know people don't like first round running backs. First of all, 29, and we got 1,000 people in the room right now. 29 is a glorified second round draft pick.
Right.
Number 2, on a glorified second round draft pick, I can get a 23 or 24-year-old running back for 4 years and a 5th-year option on the cheap. And then at 30, I just move on from him and I recycle it.
Who
You know,
you
I
two
don't got to
prefer?
pay this running back.
I
I got a question whenever you got to.
They don't even have
Whenever you
to.
want.
They don't even have to draft the running back high. They don't want to because Mike McDaniel. What was Elijah
It's
Mitchell?
the
You know,
5th-year
running back
option.
by community.
It's the 5th-year option when you get him at 29.
Oh yeah,
That's
I
the
know
thing
that.
that's enticing, right? Like if you can get like imagine if we would have drafted Jonathan Taylor,
Yeah.
we would have got him at 30 with the 5th-year option. Are you kidding me right now? You would have had an MVP. Like that's ridiculous. That's only when I start thinking running back when we get beyond 25. Because now we're just talking a glorified second round pick. Do you want the 4th or 5th best wide receiver? Do you want the 4th best or 5th best tackle? Do you want the 3rd or 4th best guard?
What
Do you-
about
do you want the
linebacker?
Do you want the 3rd best linebacker? Because losing linebackers start going in the early 20s.
You rather
So
your
do-
pick of the litter.
Yeah, so with the
Well-
running back, that's the one position
Yeah.
you know at 29, you're gonna probably have the pick of the whole litter,
Your
and maybe
pick.
only one guy will be gone.
So who would you prefer then? Out of the whole
That's
whole lot.
What's up?
I'm
Dustin?
telling you, Kenneth Walker in a McDaniel offense intrigues me a ton, bro. I thought we wouldn't
Hell yeah.
touch him under Flores because he can't block worth a damn.
Mhm.
If you're going best blocker, if you're going best all around package, it's Kyron Williams out of Notre Dame. But when you're talking about like game changers who you're not so much worried about, like, because you know they always use a multi running back system in Shanahan's offense, right? So that's why they drafted Trey Sermon, a big back, and then Elijah Mitchell, more of the, you know, they drafted a bruiser and then they drafted more of the scat guy. Well, same thing right here. Like you could draft a bruiser later on, and you could draft your scat guy. Like they're not going to be, you know, Breece Hall's a good blocker, right? Isaiah Spiller's an okay blocker. Kenneth Walker's not a good blocker, but
Damian Pierce.
Kyron Williams is one of the Damian Pierce is a good blocker too. But Kyron Williams is like one of the best non-offensive line blockers in this draft.
Plus they run a zone. They run a zone.
Reason. Quick question.
Exactly, Dustin. Yeah.
I just well, I don't know if you touched on this or not.
Kenneth's like your perfect zone back, basically, right?
Quick,
right behind him.
quick question.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know if you touched on this. I'm pretty sure you did, but
Mhm.
Omar Kelly is reporting that the Dolphins are pursuing Vic Fangio right now.
Yeah, I brought the article.
Yeah, I actually had a question about that.
Go ahead, Logan.
Yeah. So like, you know, Vic Fangio, he made like the worst career games
Hold
with
on.
Justin Herbert.
Lorenzo Rashad White is in my top 10. Wait for my big board to say I'm sleeping on people. Go ahead, Logan.
Yeah, he gave like Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes like their worst career games. So like, what do you think he could do with our defense right now?
Andy did it to
I
Tua.
would love.
Oh, and
He gave Tua his worst
Yeah, we all
game.
know that.
I
But
would love.
All right, thanks
I
for
just-
having me on. Reason
saying,
I'm
like,
gonna get
yeah.
off of here.
Take it easy, brother.
if he can
Yeah, he
score
did.
if he can score that higher, and a second question, I know the Giants are pursuing him. So how you think?
Move,
Think
baby,
we have
move.
a better shot? You think we got a better shot than the Giants?
I think we got a better
That's
defense.
interesting.
Fangio looking at our
That's what I mean.
defense, like EM, you're a defensive mind, like ball game. Let's put you in the position of a defensive coordinator. You look at their defense, you look at our defense. Is it really a question?
None, no question for me, bro.
Because as a coordinator, you're going to be judged on your defense. You're not going to be judged on the whole team.
Right. You remember a couple of weeks ago, Reason, we had that conversation privately about Vic Fangio, about the possibility. When Harbaugh was initially rumored to be coming here, he supposedly had Vic Fangio. He was going to add him as his head coaching. Defensive coordinator possibility. And I would love this would be an absolute home run for our team, bro. Because you know what my biggest concern was with any coach coming in this year. What was going to be the approach to the defense? Are they going to hit the reset button, blow it up? And that was my biggest concern because the defense is already intact. So I wanted somebody to come in, either leave the staff that we already have in place, or bring somebody in that has philosophical parallels to Brian Flores. And Vic Fangio is that guy. Now there are some differences in terms of like man and zone approach between the two, but in terms of overall personnel, the approach that Vic Fangio has that he's chosen since he's been in the National Football League, a lot of those pieces from a personnel standpoint are already in place. So this would be an absolute home run. He's a guy that Mike McDaniel can lean on in terms of because this is his first time in this situation. So it's going to come a time when he's going to be overwhelmed at times. He needs somebody to lean on. Vic Fangio has head coaching experience. He's a veteran coach, so that's somebody we can lean on. So this is an absolute home run for us, bro.
EM, why you got to get me all worked up, baby?
Get it.
You talking about?
Hey, Reason,
the security guard?
Hey, Reason, I got a question for you, Reason.
I saw you had your hand up. I was gonna come to you anyways. I just wanted to say, bro, you got me excited, EM.
Yes, sir.
You know what he's showing me, dude? I think the thing that killed Flores was he didn't have the foresight. He didn't have the foresight in the end and he didn't have the ability to swallow his pride. And it's an issue we have with people in this community. Not even people got to admit when they're out of their depth. And Flores just couldn't admit, I'm out of my depth. I need to bring someone to lean on, like you said, bro. And that we're already seeing Mike McDaniel showing there's no ego. That's the thing about the Belichick tree. So this isn't even just a Flores shot. The Belichick tree and the Shanahan tree. Not only is the Shanahan tree more successful over the last 10 years, there's no ego on that. Patricia, ego. Josh McDaniels, ego. Brian Flores, ego.
They all thought they could be Belichick.
Exactly, bro. And don't you notice? All of them think they could be Belichick.
That's the difference.
No one's coming off the
teachers.
Shanahan tree saying I'm Shanahan or I'm McVay. No one's coming off and saying that. That's the difference. They're being their own guys. Right? Anyways, go ahead, Crypto. And then you can go CB. Crypto, then CB. Go ahead.
Hey, I had a question. Do you think now that we have our head coach in place and he's in the building, do you think that the media now, or how long it would take for the media to take Ross up on his question so the fans can put it behind him on who our quarterback should be?
What do you mean? Like, do you think now that McDaniel's in the building, it's over who our quarterback is? It's decided? Is that what you mean?
Right. Oh, yeah, as far as how Stephen Ross said it's up to the next guy.
Tua's going to be our quarterback in 2020.
That he should just put it behind us and say,
at
least put him to the record and force him to say that Tua's our guy, basically, so we can put it behind us.
Yeah, it's
like the media should put it to the question.
I'm telling you right now, McDaniel, I'm guaranteed, Tua's success is not tied to his hip. I guarantee it was give him a year, see where you are at the end of the year. If he's not the guy, we got 2 draft picks in 2023. We'll move on.
Right.
They're not going to. They're going to build offense for the next guy.
Yeah.
To come in and there's going to be
exactly. You're still going to build,
problem.
Right? Yeah.
Like you had to build a complete team if you're going to go out there with half-ass players and expect all these results. You are insane, bro.
See, that's why I get what everyone says. They moved the way they did last offseason because they thought they were getting Watson. I get that. But you know why I despise and hate that argument? You should never stop. You should never stop building. Yes, you should never stop building off a hypothetical because
Yes.
anything can happen tomorrow.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So don't stop building off a hypothetical because guess what? If you would have kept building and you would have got Watson, you'd have been that much farther along.
Exactly.
Right?
Because they started the building
Yeah.
already.
Why get stagnant
Mhm.
just because I think I might get someone when I can keep building? Therefore, if I do get that person, I'm in an even better position than when I was trying to decide whether to stay stagnant or not. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's a fireable offense, bro. Like,
That's why I'm
And
excited about McDaniel.
I'm sure McDaniel knows how to answer that question if the media was to ask him who your quarterback was going to be. I'm sure he knows how to handle it.
oh yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's why I'm
and I'm
excited
sure,
about McDaniel's
And
coming
you know what
as
I'm
well.
excited with,
and
boys?
I'm
I
sure
think,
he's looking. Oh,
I
go
think
ahead, go ahead.
no, go ahead, CB83. Go ahead.
I said, and I'm sure he's looking at Tua, and he's like, "Hey, this kid is young. He can develop." I had Jimmy G.
There you go.
Jimmy wasn't that great of a player.
There
He
you go.
didn't have a high
Yep.
ceiling as Tua, and I think he can make it work. I think it's a matter of putting the pieces around Tua, getting a run game, being creative on offense, and scheming guys open, and I think it'll work. But you can't just go out there with no talent and half-ass blocking and think it's going to get it done. Like you got to have guys who have grit in the running game and who just going to
Mhm.
put their hand in the dirt and go to work. And we didn't have that, so
And you
I
gotta
think
have coaching.
Hey, Reed,
Right. Yep.
and
you know
they
you're gonna
they
have to worry
gotta
about. Oh,
believe
my
in
bad.
this. They gotta believe in the system. Like this,
Yes.
Yeah.
like they
And,
have
and
to.
see,
They have
They have
to
to
go
buy
out
in.
there on
They have to
Sunday.
buy
They
in.
have to
Yeah.
buy into the system, and they have to believe that it's going to work, right?
But can I ask you
And
this, CB83? Like, we all know these guys are all. This is just for you to continue on and make your point
yeah,
after.
yeah,
I
yeah.
wanted just to ask this question because you bring up a good
Go
point.
ahead.
You don't think some of our players, and I'm not saying like you don't think, I'm just talking generalized. That's like generalizing it. Like, you don't think some of our players, especially on offense, are hitting up like the George Kittles and the Trent Williams and saying, "Yo, give us a lowdown." And I guarantee you, players that know they're going to be around next year are salivating
Are
right now.
are excited, right? Because
Waddle
it's not just going to open up the receivers,
Mhm.
and it's not just going to open up the running back. Everybody's going to be more explosive in the offense. Like
Yeah.
the receivers are going to make plays, the running backs are going to make huge plays, and it's going to
Mhm.
be a better offensive scheme. He's also just better at the chess game, right? Looking at the defense, seeing what the defense gives you, and taking what they give you and making the best out of it. That's something we did poorly as an
Right.
offense last year.
Yes.
That's a good point. Situationally is where I'm anticipating the biggest upgrade because he
Mhm.
should be head and shoulders above where Dotson and Stewsville
Well,
Yep.
and God knows who else was last year. He should be. So, but
man,
again,
we were just so bad last year, man. I mean, everything was underneath. Nothing was creative in the run game. Like no reverses, no inside zone toss. No, like it was just not creative. Like, I mean, it looked like a high school offense last year.
Yeah, and crazy that you said
Right.
that reason about players being excited about,
On purpose.
because I literally just asked. Nick Hicks was on the space, and
Yep.
I asked him. I was like, "Yo, tell me about Lynn Bowden. Like, what you got planned for Lynn Bowden this year? I mean, this offseason." He said, "Bro, Lynn is going to be suited and booted and ready for training.
Yes,
He's
sir.
showing up at 11
I can't
tomorrow.
Yes.
So, like, he's suited and booted, and he's ready. He got the fire in his eye, basically, is what he said, bro. You feel me? And I was like, okay, that's what I want to hear. You feel me?
I don't think
That
people realize how
Yeah.
good Lynn Bowden is as a football player. Like the dude can do everything on the field.
Yeah.
I coached Garrett Johnson at West Orange High School, who was a receiver at Kentucky, and I was asking him about Lynn, and he was like, "Yo, Lynn is a dog. This dude, he can throw the football, he can run it, he can catch it, he can do everything on the field." So I could just see him being like that Debo type player, and Waddle being a compliment to that too, man.
EM.
Yeah.
EM.
go ahead, bro.
Now Albright. Wouldn't be surprised to see former Broncos head coach Vic
Oh
Fangio
my
play for the
God.
Dolphins.
Please,
No,
God.
Yes.
make him the highest paid coordinator in the league, bro. That's what
There
you
you
got to
go.
do.
Just
Throw
do it.
throw the money at him and get
Bro.
him locked
And
up.
go
and get
get
him out.
Mike Munchak from
Yeah,
go
yeah.
get that offensive line coach.
Hell
Let's go.
yeah.
And just, you know what? Just for the sake of it, bring in Embry and bring in Welker.
Yes.
Pep
Let's go,
Hamilton.
baby.
John
Yes.
Free, the dude I want.
Line it up.
600 long season.
Line it
Let's
up. Drop the
go.
bag.
Let's
Hey,
get it. Let's get it.
Hey,
Let's get
and
it.
And Ross is hitting hardball like, "Hey man, go ahead and tell Fangio to go ahead, come help the kid."
Yeah.
He's like, "Come help the kid out, right?"
No, you know what someone tweeted out today? They're like, guys, Fangio was in play for Miami before they even, as a defensive coordinator, before they even signed Mike McDaniel. And
Yeah.
you know what that person's talking about? That's who Harbaugh was going to be bringing if he came here.
Yeah.
So he's already warmed to the idea of living in Miami.
Bro, Fangio, look at how old's Fangio? Is he? If he's in
He's
his
63.
Oh, he's a lock, baby. He's right around
He's 63.
65. Miami, we're good, baby.
Yeah, he's
Hey, yo,
63.
can I
Give
say
him
it?
3 years.
Retired.
Let him
Yeah.
You know what I wanted to say to you guys?
He's gonna be on Las Olas.
I can't wait,
Chill.
bro.
Boys and girls, because of the no ego and because of the personality and because of the mind, coaches are going to want to actually coach with Mike McDaniel. And I don't say for, I say with. Because what I tell everyone is people don't realize, like, Shanahan, if you actually look into Kyle Shanahan, bro, he'd let no one handle game plan installs, have input on play calling, play designs. He let no one do that except Mike McDaniel. So, like, we can talk about the McVays and the LaFleurs, and yeah, he put them on. But when you talk about Shanahan's coaching career for the last 14 years, McDaniel's the only one that's been there for every stop of the way.
Tied to a lot of his success.
Like, that's why, that's why EM's brothers, who are huge 49ers fans, are expecting a little bit of a downtick. And Anthony Lynn's a phenomenal coach and probably the best option. They come out there. But look at, and even they're saying they expect a little bit of a downtick. What does that tell you?
I cannot, to be honest with you, if they're able to secure Vic Fangio.
Oh, home run!
Can you imagine what that means?
That'd be a home run.
Yo, if Fangio gets hired, I'm already standing on that hill. But if Fangio gets hired, I'm planting the flag that Mike McDaniel was the best hire of this cycle.
Reason. But can you imagine what that means for these edge players? Look at the Fangio has been instrumental in their development, bro, over the years. Going back to San Francisco, Alden Smith, Bradley Chubb in Denver, obviously. Even with Von Miller was an all-star before he got there, but his game even went to another level under Vic Fangio too.
Ready for it? EM. You know how much I love Javon Holland, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know I was the first one in the community to talk about that motherfucker, okay?
Absolutely.
But you know how much I love Justin Simmons in Denver.
Oh, absolutely.
Who put him on? What do you think about that?
Big Fangio.
Woo! To the moon, baby. Let's go.
Man.
To the moon.
Do you think if Nakobe Dean's sitting there on the first pick, they'd go that instead of running back with Vic Fangio as RTC?
Let's go. I'm down.
At 29, he's probably already gone.
Yeah, I think he's gone, but I'm down.
He's gone before the 29th pick.
I mean, people got him dropping. I mean, I know it's just mock drafts, but a lot of people
because people are starting to fall in love with, like, Quay Walker and all these other guys in athleticism and shit. But, yo,
never know.
Nakobe
Push
Dean
him down.
Oh, man, that would be so sweet.
We need
Wait till the
a
combine.
middle,
Because people are pushing him down because they saw seniors at the Senior Bowl. Wait till they're all at the combine, then we'll start really gauging it. But I saw that, like, certain athletic profiles like Quay Walker and other guys are getting boosted up these boards because of their athletic profile.
He might be the next Ray Lewis.
Yeah, Senior Bowl did skew it a little bit.
I'm all
it's just like, bro, I was telling y'all when all these people were trying to tell you in different chats and channels, Kenny Pickett, I said, nah, if we're going quarterback, we take Sam Howell or Malik Willis. What's the talk coming out of the Senior Bowl? Malik Willis is that dude right now. All right, it was you go Malik Willis, you don't go Kenny Pickett, baby. And I'd take Howell over Kenny Pickett too.
Some people got him as high as 15.
Who?
Willis.
Willis is going
on
top
some
10.
drafts.
Willis
some people. Yeah, some people.
And he's under
6'1".
And I want to hear what people talk crap about him because he's under 6'1".
Right. I don't think that's an issue.
He's
I don't
6 foot
think
and a half.
an issue.
Bro, the guy has a rocket arm and he's super athletic.
Seems to be accurate too.
Yeah. His issue is his decision making on all three levels. That's where his issue
college,
is.
And I can't wait. Man, I hope.
Yeah, but you know why that's a red flag?
That can be coached up.
You know why people deem that as a red flag is because you see basic shell defenses in college. So when you're like basically like I've seen a couple throws where it's like either out routes or hook routes where he throws it and he doesn't even identify the defender hanging underneath, and they just step in the line of the in the direction of the pass, and it's gone. It's like, and then he'll come back and make a throw that blows your mind, and you're like, how the hell did you not notice the underneath hanger? Like, how did you not notice that? Like, that's the type of stuff you get, and when you see that in college, you got to get, it's a red flag, because it's one thing to see that in the NFL when you're seeing different stuff post snap and everything's disguised and stuff, but when you're seeing like basic shells, it's cause for concern. Like, again, it could be coached up and coached out. It just shows you how behind he is in that area, right?
But he's at Liberty, though. I mean,
he's
it's
a
not
raw
like he's
talent.
Getting,
He's a raw talent.
But remember, he transferred out of the SEC, right?
Oh,
He's at Liberty, right?
Yeah. What? Say again?
Where did he transfer out to? Like, wasn't it? He was at Mississippi State. I want to say.
Yeah. He where was he first? I forget where he was. But he transfer portaled, right? I'm pretty sure he transfer portaled. Let me double look. If this guy was 6'3", he would be going number 1 overall. I'll tell you that much.
But he was at
Auburn.
Liberty.
He was at Auburn.
Oh, he's at Auburn. Wow.
Yeah, and then he transferred to Liberty in 2019.
You know what I can't wait. You know, I can't wait.
What's the competition in that division?
To see how McDaniel really create space for the receivers. Because last year we had a lot of guys in the same area.
By the way, I just got a text. I just got a text. Mike Munchak is a strong possibility, and they capitalize strong.
Oh my God!
Let's go, man. God, that's his.
Because you got the Fangio tie, right? You got the Fangio tie again.
You got to know he's got it all set up.
God, we needed
Dolphins
this.
Always benefited from a strong running game. Even back in the late 70s, this heat is killer, bro. We supposed to be
bro,
pound the rock
teams
30
down.
times at home.
Big,
they used to go like 8-0 at home sometimes, because just
punch him
running
in
the
the
rock,
mouth.
like this stuff matters. If you go in most of your home games, you basically right there. You only need to win a couple of away games.
The goal is
number 1 seed.
the goal is always this. All right, it's always this: be dominant at home, be a 500 road team.
Yeah,
and if you're dominant at home and you're a 500 road team,
you're in the playoffs.
Buddy, listen, that's
Guaranteed
at least 10 or
playoffs,
11 wins right there.
Yeah,
we got the conditions for it,
November. That sun is beaming. It should be beaming right on their head, and it's supposed to be affecting them the whole game. And we never use that to our advantage, even though that's supposed to be our advantage.
Hey, you better believe conditioning will be huge for McDaniel too. Like he's gonna be running these dudes to death.
And our guys were bad out of condition.
Boy, man. And our receivers are just sucked at blocking too. I expect our receiving core to change a lot.
Heart.
Like,
and you know what? I'll put the winning and losing. They'll put the winning and losing into perspective for all you gamblers out there. One of the best gamblers I know, who makes a living off gambling, he says to me, win the games you're favored in, go 500 in the games you're not, and you will always be a 12-ish win team.
What's up, bro?
Damn.
Always win the games you're favorites in.
Exactly.
And automatically, because you're at least a favorite, about 8 or 9 times a year. So if you win all those, go ahead. Sorry, CB and then Destin. Go ahead.
Okay.
CB was talking. I cut him off.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought, but I was just talking about like the profile of the receivers. Like we're gonna go get stockier guys who can take a beating, who can run block, who are gonna, be cool with running reverses and it not be an issue. Like the guys are going to be put in motion. So our offensive scheme is going to be 10 times better than what we've seen. And honestly, I think our defense is good enough. Our defense is good enough to go out there and line up and play. Like they don't need a great.
Would you sign Allen Robinson 216, 6'2"?
That's what's going to be my question. Do you see McDaniels going after one of the big receivers?
What if he can say?
What about Chris Godwin?
What if he can
the money's right.
What if he can salvage Preston Williams, bro?
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
We have to re-sign him. He's a free agent. You'd have to re-sign him as a free agent right now.
But you know what's crazy?
They definitely can get it for the cheap. So
you know what's crazy? I was just looking at the 49ers depth chart.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the receivers and looking at their sizes. They're not that big, actually.
They're small.
Like,
They're small, stocky.
Debo's the biggest.
No, Jawan Jennings is. He's about 6'2", like 210. But that's like the biggest, but
the tallest.
everyone's
Isn't Debo over 210?
Debo's a
Debo like
tank, yeah.
215.
yeah, but
Yeah,
he's like
Debo's like running
Talking
back
like
profile.
I was talking what CB was talking about, like stockiness type is what I.
Oh
was
yeah.
You're talking about height, right? You're talking about like height.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think weight too. I think he was 6'2", 210, 215. I can't remember off the head, but he's definitely was the biggest.
Debo's 215.
Because you know what I would love if he
hey,
falls to us,
Ayuk
and I
was
still,
nice too,
I still think he could be huge in a McDaniel offense. Drake London would fit this offense too.
Oh man, he's not going to be
Yeah.
there, bro.
That's been a
He's
lot
what,
of
like
love
6'2",
that.
6'3"?
Yeah,
Yo, somebody
I think
need
he's
that.
what is he?
6'5",
I think he's
6'5".
yeah, he's
Like
6'5",
6'5".
and he's like
Yeah.
220 or something like that.
Yo, who the
That's
fuck
a
go get him?
big.
Yeah.
Why would he do
Originally,
that?
yes.
Like, don't you think the injury, him not playing most of the season, the injury thing gonna affect it?
Dude, I've heard it.
Because
like,
of his measurements.
Dude, and didn't he still lead his conference by like the end?
Yeah,
I think he led in the NCAA in contested catches, and he only played like 8 games.
And he had like
Was he
over
records
what did
too?
he have over like 1,200 yards or something like that? Like
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
But
yeah, there you
reason-
go. Debo's 219. Jason just said.
Fuck.
219.
Jesus Christ. And what height?
That dude is
What,
huge.
5'10", 5'11"?
No, I think he's 6 foot.
No. He's
Debo?
He's 6'1".
He's listed at 6 foot, but he ain't 6 foot. I'm
He's
telling
not
you that
6 foot,
right
yeah.
now.
Like
6 foot with
6'1".
cleats on. 6 foot with cleats on.
Imagine a
He's
DK.
basically a running back playing wide
See,
receiver.
I gotta
That's
ask you
basically
guys.
what he
Jason
is.
wide back.
Myers says Allen Robinson would get a pretty good deal, and I would
How?
agree with you last
How?
year. But this
No,
year, like he really suffered from bad quarterback play.
Yes, he
Like
did.
I think is
yes.
Godwin healthy now or no?
I think he'll be in the
No, he's
15
No,
million
I think
range.
he's still hurt.
towards ACL.
Yeah,
I
See,
think
the
he'll be in the
sneaky,
15
the
million.
sneaky, the sneaky signing if he didn't get hurt would have been Michael Gallup. That would have been
Right.
like
Oh,
the
that would've been
sneaky, cheap $8-9 million guy that blows up on the contract for us.
But you know,
Yo,
if we
'cause
talk
he's a
about spending
beast.
the money though, I'd rather just get the O line, build it as rough as you can. As
Does McDaniel
big-
keep Parker?
I
No,
don't
I
know.
hope not.
No.
I
If he wants
don't
Tua
think
to
so.
be continued successful, he better cut bait with him.
I'd rather go
Because
with
that's
Tyson
not
Gallup.
Tua's style receiver.
Nah.
He
I'd
doesn't
rather
fit
go with
Tua's
Tyson
skill
Gallup.
set.
He's like around $6 million this season. That's why. And you look at his size and you look at his route running ability. I mean, the guy. Well, obviously, he needs a new personal trainer. But
Yes.
you know, to
man.
stay healthy.
I think
and
the
stuff.
Dolphins
He needs a
Is he
personal
just gonna be a
They
4th
got to
or
move
5th
on at
receiver?
all costs.
See, I love
What do you
Mike
think would be-
Williams, Logan. I'm really stuck here. I don't know what to do because Mike's gonna want money, and I don't. I'm really like
I don't think the Chargers
How
gonna
much?
lose.
in the middle.
How much?
Man,
would he-
screw it. I'm
Chargers
with
gonna try
Calvin
to lose
Ridley.
him.
How much
Calvin
would Mike
Ridley.
Williams go for?
Probably
Mike
in the
Williams, how much will he go
22.
for?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'd
that
like
guy's
50,
gonna be
right?
making like, yeah, he's gonna be making like I believe 12 to 15 million a year.
Yeah.
If we're
I can
gonna
see
do
that.
it,
Not
do it
bad.
right. Make the trade for Calvin Ridley. If we're gonna do it right, man. Get
I
that
think
boy
that-
Ridley or a
And then
DK.
someone asked about Devontae Adams. The word right now is Devontae Adams wants like 30 million a year.
mil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What about
I'm out for
isn't
that. I don't
Scantling?
want
Same,
Now
no,
that
no,
Scantling
same amount of money. That's an insane amount.
Gotta
No,
roll, you
it's too
guys.
much.
Take care.
Take it easy, Ben.
Take it easy.
Isn't Valdez Scantling
Take it easy.
free agent?
Say again, sorry.
Valdez
Yeah,
Scantling
yeah.
isn't he a free
I
agent?
think
as well?
so.
Yeah,
Yep.
he is.
Ooh, he
But
should be good burning.
Rogers has said wherever he goes, he wants Adams and Valdez Scantling to follow him.
Yeah, but if
Do
he
you
goes to
believe that
Denver
the
or
Tennessee
something,
Titans don't want Rodgers? Do you really believe that?
That the Green Bay Packers don't want Rogers?
No,
No,
I
the
see
Tennessee
Tennessee Titans.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I read a report today that Green Bay's telling everyone privately that they have no intentions of trading Aaron Rodgers.
They'd be fools.
So, we're about to hit 2 hours, guys.
What did they
Let's go
say?
through. Let's get some final thoughts here. Logan, let's start with you, buddy.
Yeah, super stoked with this hire. Can't wait to see what he does with the team. And finally, some positivity. Love it.
About time.
So, fins up, guys.
Crypto, your final thoughts, dude.
Same here, Logan. I'm a reason. Thanks for having us all on board. Yeah, he was my second guy behind Caldwell, so that was a deal. I'm happy with this hire. I'm always about the underdog and dark horse, with McDaniel. So there's a lot of things to be excited for. He has a record. He has a good resume. So he brings together a good pedigree, especially when it comes to the offensive side of the ball and everything. So it's pretty good. pretty good thing to look forward to. Hopefully, the people in the press conference, ask him some questions about how what's his vision going forward with everything, as far as what he want to do to get us to that championship level. So, pretty good. I'm excited.
CB83, your final thoughts.
Excited for the offense, man. Excited for his character, man. He's charismatic. I enjoy watching his interviews. They don't bore me. Excited about the offensive scheme he'll bring in. Just really looking forward to it. When you look at the game of football, the offense is always going to be a little behind initially, but because the defense, they just line up in gaps and play. They line up in gaps, they run, they get after it, they can attack right away. But once this offense gets going, it's gonna also sharpen our defense and make our defense better as well. So I'm looking forward to it, man.
Z-Man, your final thoughts.
Yeah, man. Like CB83, man. Last year, what always killed us was those crosser routes and how they create space continuously off that, but we never could really defend it. So you was thinking, man, if only we could do that type of stuff, but we never could because we never could create that type of space. And hopefully, McDaniels bring that. He's gonna bring that scheme where he's gonna get guys like Waddle, Lynn Bowden, more chances to create their yards that they catch. Because as much as we wanna harp on Tua play, he's not doing anything different than every other quarterback in the NFL, bro. Like most of these guys are taking them 10, 15-yard passes, 20 yards more, or taking it for a touchdown. Like it's not really that complicated, and everything has to come together. It takes the receivers actually blocking and giving your guys actually a chance to make a play. And Mac Hollins gonna be really good in this team too. And hands up.
Florida Born, your final thoughts.
Man, finally got some good news. I'm so happy about this. I just love the swag McDaniels has. I think he's gonna really get the players to buy in, and we're finally gonna have something that we didn't have last year, and that's an identity. Let's go, baby. Fins up.
Fins up.
Guys, and remember, tomorrow at about 1:30 Eastern, I'll be live with Eric Crocker of the Crocker Report and also of Locked On 49ers, and we'll be discussing Mike McDaniel in depth. King Z305, thank you for being patient with me tonight, and thank you for coming back. Your final thoughts, buddy.
I'm excited about the hire, and I'm just excited about the possibilities this offense could properly do. And also, thank you for having me.
Appreciate you, man. Destin, your final thoughts.
Yeah, man, excited about Shanahan tree branching out to Miami. Man, I'm excited for the
Everyone eat an apple. Everyone find the brightest red apple you can find tonight and take a bite out of it. And that's us out of the Shanahan tree. Anyways, go ahead, Destin.
Just make sure it doesn't have worms in it. That's
exactly.
all.
Amen.
But yeah. So also just the possibility of the coaching staff he's bringing with him. Yo, I don't know everybody. The concern was with what's the coaching staff?
Yeah.
Yo, if he puts that what the rumor is,
let's go.
Man, you can forget about it. And I'm excited to see how he approaches this offseason. And having 75 to maybe even 100 million in cap space to build the offense really in his image. I mean, defense doesn't need that much work, so he can just put all these resources in making the offense in his image that he wants. And I mean, you got to be excited about that, man. So
yeah, can't wait. Well, Fangio takes care of the defense, and Ladarius he named someone who's going to be on I put together my top 10 free agent list based on the hiring of Mike McDaniel, and Cordarrelle Patterson is on that list because he would make a lot of sense in a Mike McDaniel offense. I actually have him in the top. I have him fairly high on my list too.
He was great
just because of how much sense he would make in that offense. So good call, Ladarius. Rhino and Pyro have joined us, so I'll give them final thoughts. Rhino, your first and final thoughts.
Cautiously optimistic. It's nice to have some good news over the past compared to the last 2 weeks. Not to be negative, but we've been fooled by Gase and Flo the last 2 times. Like I said, I'm very happy about this. Let's see how he builds the staff. If he builds a staff, hell yeah, let's go.
Pyro. Are you out of the hole?
Well, let's be real here. I've been out of the hole for in secret, but I try to tell someone Rhino that everything's
Too
gonna be
late.
fine. Everything's gonna be fine. Take a deep breath. Trust what they're gonna do, and I'm taking a little victory lap right now. I ain't gonna lie, because a lot of people was giving me pushback on Twitter, even in my own circle. So, I mean, I'm feeling great, man. It's good. It's a great signing, man. It's a good day.
It's a good day. It's about time we have a good day. And also, GT Bobby Thompson tweeted out Mike McDaniel believes in Tua Tagovailoa and will center the offense around his strengths.
Let's
go, so there you go. All right.
He's saying I made it to a Super Bowl with Jimmy G. Hold my
I got
beer.
this.
Watch what,
Watch what I do with this kid.
Yeah,
That's exactly what he's saying. Bro. Oh my god. All right, guys. I'm gonna be back tomorrow around 1:30 p.m. Eastern. So it's gonna be a day show. And I'm gonna be with Eric Crocker, former NFL cornerback, now host of Locked On 49ers. And we are gonna break down Mike McDaniel, this offense, what it could look like. Players in this draft cycle that make sense, players in free agency that make sense. You're going to get insight from a former NFL player that covers the 49ers on Mike McDaniel, because no one does it like Reason does it on Phinside the NFL, baby. So I will see all y'all tomorrow around 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Catch it late if you're not able to be there, but I hope y'all can make it. Until then, guys, like Janine said in Ghostbusters, we got one, baby. Let's go. Spins up all day, every day. I'll see